we as the European people never think about how close geographically Russia is to Northern America. I believe that the most of you don't know that Alaska belonged 150 years ago to Russia and was called Russian America. In 1856 the United States bought Alaska from Russia. This is an interesting situation which begs so much questions. Why did Russia sell a part of its territory which is a very valuable country today? Did they not know about the large occurrence of natural resources in Alaska, or didn't they have a choice, and had to sell Alaska? The purchase of Alaska had attracted the attention of generations. The catalyst of this sale stated a long time before in the history. Alaska itself never had an important history before the Russian American. The first Russian people who saw Alaska were Vitus Bering and Alexei Chirikov. They detected 1741 the south coast and parts of the Aleutian Islands. Because of the high quality of the fur what Vitus Bering brought back to Russia, a lot of Russian hunters traveled to Alaska. With these hunters an infrastructure grew in Alaska. Ships and factories were built, and in 1857 coal was mined, but the industry never was very profitable. Russia was involved in the Crimean War from 1853 to 1855 and capitulated in September 1855. With the defeat in the Crimean War, the dominant position, which Russia had played after the coalition wars in Europe, ended as well. Between Russia and the United States existed a long area of friendship. From the beginning of the Crimean War, business contacts and cooperation grew stronger. After the Crimean War, Russia was in a precarious financial situation. The war and the ensuing reformation were at a very high price for Russia, so that Russia needed money. Besides, it feared the loss without compensation of Alaska during a military conflict, in particular, if this took place with the United Kingdom, whose navy could have conquered this territory easily, but for Russia it would be extremely hard to defend. Both America and Russia almost simultaneously came up with the idea of selling Alaska. The first attempt of Russia to sell Alaska to the United States was in 1859. The imminent Civil War of the United States delayed a sale. After the Civil War ended with a Union victory, the Secretary of State, William Henry Seward, pursued negotiations to expand U.S. territory. Russia's conditions on sale of Alaska were discussed in a special conference on the 28th of December 1866. In the following, the contract was negotiated by only two persons in several meetings called Stokel and Seward. On the evening of the 29th of March was the last meeting, which took the whole night. By 4 a.m. on the 30th of March 1867 the agreement to sell was signed and ready for transmission to St. Petersburg and to the U.S. Senate. The Senate acknowledged the Treaty of Acquisition of Alaska on 9th of April, and President Andrew Johnson signed the treaty on 28th of May. The Treaty of Cession is also signed by Tsar Alexander II, which formally concluded the agreement for the purchase of Alaska from Russia. Alaska was formally transferred to the United States on 18th of October. Russia sold the territory of Alaska to the United States for $7.2 million, for less than 2 cents an acre. If you take a look at a map you would see that Alaska and Canada are located next to each other. In other words, why did Canada not buy Alaska? The answer is very easy. On the 30th of March 1867 Canada was not established. In the same year of the purchase, on the 1st of July 1867, Canada was officially established. While the bureaucrats were negotiating, public opinion in both countries opposed the deal.
How can we give away land that we have put so much effort and time into developing, land where the telegraph has arrived, and where gold mines have been found?
The Russian newspapers wrote.
Why does America need this icebox and 50,000 wild Eskimos who drink fish oil for breakfast?
The American press asked indignantly. The press was not alone against the purchase, the Congress also disapproved. After the American purchase, the population of America had different opinions about this topic. On the one hand, many legislators and journalists at the time objected to the high price and uncertain prospects of earning a reasonable return on the investment. The great majority of Americans thought the territory was a land of perpetual ice and snow and that it was worthless. Briefly after the purchase, the first reports of the sale of Alaska were published in a diversity of newspapers. Sarcastic and humorous remarks began to appear. On the other hand, there were many coal mining corporations which were conscious about the large natural resources, and like other establishments want to benefit from the region. The Western Union Telegraph establishment was very delighted to assemble connections between Alaska and the United States. Many others were interested in the grand fish inventory of Alaska. At the end of his life, William Seward was asked, "Which of your public acts do you think will live longest in the memory of the American people?" Seward replied,
"The purchase of Alaska. But it will take another generation to find it out."
Today we are this generation, and the purchase of Alaska is still a topic. Commentators praise the near miraculous foresight of Secretary of State William Seward. Seward's annexation of Alaska holds a rather unique place in the diplomatic annals of both companies. Alaska is rich in oil, gold, fish, timber, and many other goods. The total value of any of these commodities far exceeds Alaska's original purchase price. Modern historians today believe that the purchase of Alaska with all his valuable natural resources was the beginning of the US imperialism, as an intelligent foreign political decision. Other modern historians believe that it was the origin of the conflict between Russia and the United States. The deal was an honest one, and this is the important thing. Today Alaska belongs to the United States of America, and at the 3rd of January, 1959 became Alaska the 49th federal state of the United States.